There we go.
If you don't fill the DEF up, what's going to happen? Same exact thing as if you don't put it in fast idle when you leave the vehicle running for an extended amount of times. A little yellow light is going to come up on the dash after your DEF light starts to flash a bunch of times, warning you you're empty. Little yellow light's going to come up on the dash, indicating you need to fill it up with DEF immediately. If you don't fill it up with DEF, a little red stop light will come on as well. It'll derate your engine speed. You have to take it to a dealer. They have to reset the code. They have to check the exhaust system, the DEF system. A lot of time, a lot of money. Exact same thing as if you let the little stoplight come on due to the particulates in the exhaust. So just keep it full of DEF. There is a special tank outside. I'll show you where it is when we do the walk around. You keep it full, you'll be fine. So your two main points, fast idle, DEF, you'll never have a problem. If you do that, those two things, you may never see the little yellow light on the dash. If you don't do that, you're going to have some issues down the line. Now, back to the air system. Because this vehicle has air brakes, there are some little gauges here on the dash, and I mentioned that they should be up about the 150. They're right beneath that. They need to be at that 150 to operate. So if it's any lower, like you noticed there was a little light on the dash that said park brake light or low air, low voltage kind of thing, it's going to keep beeping at you and warning you, because if it's below about 60 psi, this park brake actually won't release. So always make sure you warm the vehicle up, wait till your gauges go up. If you're going down the road and you see that your gauge has started to drop and it starts to warn you and beep that you have low air like we heard earlier, pull over immediately. Air brake systems work the opposite of the hydraulic system that's in your standard car. If you were to go outside and cut the line on your brake line on your car, not telling anyone to do this again, you'll just lose brakes, right? You may get your front brakes, you might get your rear brakes, but you're going to lose a set of brakes and your stopping is going to be hindered. If you're in an air system such as this, it's the exact opposite. If you lose air, you're going to get brakes really quickly. The air is what is keeping the brakes from engaging. So if you lose air, you have about 10-12 seconds before this thing just locks up. So if you've seen the black streaks on the highway from the semi-trucks, or you've been by a semi-truck and they're just dragging their rear tires, you might have seen that, smoke's just pouring out. It's because their air brakes have locked up because of malfunction in the air system, and they didn't realize it. So this thing's gonna stop quick. So just remember that. No air means brakes all the time. With air means you get to choose when you have brakes. Now you'll notice when I first started this as well, we'll see if it says it again, it said low voltage on the dash. Now you can see it says we have 12.6 volts, which is plenty enough to start the vehicle. And when I started the vehicle, we had 13 to 14 volts because the alternator kicked in. These Freightliner dashes are very, very sensitive to voltage drop. So if you turn it off for an extended amount of time, the computer automatically reads that there's no voltage. So every time you start this thing, you may see that little low voltage light. Now after about 3 to 5 seconds, that light goes away on its own. The easiest way to know that that light is not correct is if you start the vehicle and it starts right up like normal. If you have an issue where you crank, 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 or it turns really, really slow, that low voltage light is probably correct. So then you may have an issue with the batteries, or you may not have kept it plugged in and charged, etc. Alright, there is a little light here on the dash that says wheelchair lift in use. If the wheelchair lift door is open, it's not necessary that the chair lift itself, it goes off the door. If the door is open, that light will come on as well. This, once again, just like the Jack's light, is a dummy light. If it fails for some reason, it's still up to you to know that you closed the door and the wheelchair lift is not out. So be aware of that. The stereo. Very, very standard stereo. Other than it does your little cameras, it's just a standard stereo. There is an entire little info packet, about a ½ inch thick, just like you get with your car. Goes over how to set your favorite preset stations, etc. Nothing really special with that. The little phone holder here comes with the vehicle. They always do now. I don't know why. It is just to put your phone in. You can put your phone in place, and then you take these little rubber guys and you flip them over the corners of your phone, and your phone is guaranteed to never come off this dash. It's like a two-fold security system for your phone. Worked pretty good. If you want to remove it because it's in your way, loosen up this little guy right here just like a normal camera. If you loosen it up enough, it'll come off the little ball, and you can take it off the dash. The HVAC controls on the dash are just standard HVAC controls. They are just for this front driver's area. They don't control anything throughout the rest of the vehicle. So don't turn on the cold air and expect the rest of the vehicle to get cold. It's not going to do it for you. Recirculate and your AC, they both have an actual button. They're not on the little turn lever. Well, I'm messing up today with lever and level. Defrost fans. There are two little metal fans, just like you would find in a school bus, and you see they're up there at the top of the dash. If you need to defrost the windows, the actual AC may not defrost the entire windshield because of how large it is. The fan is not strong enough to reach the top. Those little fans actually blow the heat back at the windshield to help defrost it. Now, we've all seen a school bus driver, just like on The Simpsons or something like that, Otis, he's got it turned around at him and it's rattling and it's just running 24/7. It's not what it's for. If you choose to do that, the next time you go to start it in cold weather, it's going to be frosted up or something like that, and it's not going to defrost the window. So just be aware of that. There is a high and a low. Keep them aimed at the window. This one's actually not aimed exactly where it should be, and you shouldn't have a problem with defrosting the windows. The button here that is labeled engine and radio house. When it is turned to engine mode, whenever I turn the key, the radio will come on. Now that's dangerous if you want to have the radio playing and you're operating inside the vehicle. So if you push the radio house button, it's going to turn the radio on off the house batteries no matter where the key is at. So you can take the key out, put it in your pocket. You don't have to leave it in the ignition. It's a safety feature. Now this is one of the lovely features that will drain the batteries. So if you leave it in this radio house and you just leave it playing 24/7 and you go away and walk away from the vehicle and it's shut down improperly, you're going to drain the batteries with this. So make sure at the end of the day, you push that back to the engine mode. The seat that I am sitting in is a 6-way power seat. It does ups and downs, all those fun little things. There should be a little lever on the side. If I can, right there. This will enable me, if I rock it really hard, I can actually swivel the seat. Now you see I'm hitting the wall. What you have to do is you have to move it all the way forward, rotate the seat, and you can actually turn the seat all the way around. The passenger seat does the exact same thing, except it's all manual. There's 2 little levers on the side here. One swivels and one goes forward. The back adjustment, of course, is going to be the lever on the side of the seat right here to do the back part. There is a little light above my head. The little light above my head is a map light. Those typically come on when you unlock and open the door. The passenger side, there's a button right there that says map light on the armrest. Now when you go to remove the seat and add your little exam room table, I doubt you'll ever use that little light, but that's exactly what it's for. In order for either of them to work, the little switch on the light has to be on. If it's not on, towards the little circle, it's not going to work no matter what you do. The little tray on the dash right there is just a map tray. If you pull out where it's got a hand indentation, pull straight out, you can use it as a work table. It is not meant to support a lot of weight, so don't sit on it, don't stand on it, don't put anything heavy on it. It's not going to hold it. There's nothing really too special about those map trays. That is it for the front dash area. We do need to go over the jack system, so we're going to pause right there, and we'll move the camera over here, and we will go over that portion next.